Did you know that the stuff you lather onto your body every single morning might actually be messing with your hormones and doing absolutely nothing to heal your dry skin? Think about your daily routine. You step out of a piping hot shower, your pores are wide open, your skin is warm, supple, and practically begging to absorb moisture. So, you grab that trusted dermatologist recommended bottle sitting on your bathroom counter, slather it from head to toe, and go about your day feeling like you've done something great for your health. But what if told you that you didn't just moisturize, you essentially wrapped your entire body in a cheap layer of refined crude oil and synthetic preservatives? We've been conditioned to think that if a product is sitting on the shelves of a major American drugstore or supermarket, it must be completely safe and thoroughly vetted. We see words like clinical care, deep nourishment, or intensive recovery, and we hand over our hard earned cash without a second thought. But your skin isn't a solid brick wall, it's a semi permeable membrane. It breathes, it absorbs, and it can pass lipid soluble chemicals straight into your system, leaving your liver and your endocrine system to deal with the toxic aftermath. In this video, we are pulling back the curtain on the multi-billion-dollar skincare industry to show you exactly how you're being scammed. You'll find out why some of the most famous lotions in America are nothing more than overpriced tap water and petroleum. I'll show you the hidden chemical loopholes corporations use to hide nasty ingredients under the guise of proprietary secrets. We'll break down the specific laboratory warnings, lawsuit data, and consumer complaints that prove these legacy brands have quietly gutted their formulas to maximize profit margins while keeping the exact same comforting marketing on the front. And make sure you stick around until the very end, because the absolute most shocking culprit on our list, a brand that millions of Americans associate with pure, gentle, and innocent family care, is actually hiding some of the worst offenders. By the time we're done, you'll know more than 90% of shoppers, and you'll never look at a beauty aisle the same way again. Before we name names, we need to understand the basic mechanics of how a functional lotion is supposed to work versus how mass market garbage actually operates. Think of your skin barrier like a brick wall. The skin cells are the bricks, and natural lipids, like ceramides, are the mortar holding everything together, keeping moisture locked inside. A high-quality lotion acts like a repair crew. It delivers actual humectants to draw water deep into the cells and healthy emollients to rebuild that mortar. But the mainstream cosmetic industry has discovered a much cheaper shortcut. Instead of repairing the wall, they just slap a thick layer of plastic wrap over the top of it. This is what we call an occlusive barrier, and while it stops water from escaping temporarily, it doesn't add a single drop of real hydration. It completely suffocates your skin, giving you a temporary artificial sensation of softness, while underneath your skin cells are literally starving for actual nourishment. This entire industry is built on a massive bait and switch routine. They will spend millions of dollars advertising a trendy, exotic ingredient on the front of the bottle, like organic shea butter, pure Moroccan argan oil, or soothing aloe vera. They put gorgeous pictures of plants and fruits on the label to make you feel like you're buying a bottle of pure nature. But when you flip that bottle over and read the microscopic print on the back, you realize that glorious natural ingredient is the 10th or 12th item listed, present in a microscopic fraction of a percent. It's what insiders call fairy dusting, adding just enough of a premium ingredient so they can legally print it on the label, while the actual bottle is stuffed with cheap synthetic fillers. And to make matters worse, these formulas are packed with aggressive preservatives and chemical fragrances designed to give the product a 10-year shelf life and mask the foul odor of industrial chemical bases. It is a brilliant business model for the executives, but a complete disaster for your body. The tone from these corporations is always one of gentle, caring expertise, but the reality is pure, unadulterated cost cutting at the expense of your health. Let's dive straight into the absolute worst offenders sitting on the shelves of your local Walmart, Target, and CVS right now. If you think your favorite household brand has your back, get ready for a cold dose of reality, because we are counting down from the mildly deceptive to the outright toxic. First up, at number 8, is Nivea Essentially Enriched Body Lotion. Nivea is an absolute titan, a German-owned heritage brand that has been a staple in American households for generations. Everyone recognizes that iconic blue packaging. Your mom or grandmother probably used it, and it carries an image of deep, thick, trusted European quality. But if you look past the cozy nostalgia and read the back of a modern bottle sold at Walgreens, the reality is incredibly disappointing. The very first ingredient is water, which is standard, but the second ingredient is mineral oil, closely followed by petroleum. You are essentially paying top dollar for refined crude oil byproducts. Mineral oil sits on top of your skin like a layer of industrial grease. It creates a temporary slickness that mimics hydration, but it completely suffocates your pores and stops your skin from breathing or producing its own moisture. Furthermore, a major European study on cosmetic-grade mineral oils discovered that the refining process is rarely flawless, often leaving behind traces of mineral oil aromatic hydrocarbons, which have raised serious long-term safety flags. To mask the chemical smell of this petroleum soup, Nivea loads the formula with a heavy dose of synthetic fragrance. In the cosmetics industry, fragrance is a legal loophole that allows corporations to hide hundreds of individual chemicals under a single word to protect trade secrets, exposing your skin to potential hidden allergens and synthetic musks. To top it off, the formula utilizes BHT, a synthetic antioxidant and preservative that has been heavily restricted in various international regions due to its status as a suspected endocrine disruptor. It's a cheap, synthetic cocktail wrapped in a legendary name, and it is a complete scam for your wallet. If you already feel like running to check your own bathroom vanity, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now, because the deeper we dig into these major brands, the nastier it gets. Moving on to number 7, we have Vaseline Intensive Care Advanced Repair. This brand is practically synonymous with skin protection in the United States, tracing its roots back to the 19th century when raw petroleum jelly was discovered by oil workers. People buy this thinking it's a clinical, heavy-duty solution for severely dry skin. But when you break down the cost per ounce, you realize you are paying a massive premium for a bottle that is mostly water and petroleum, which is just standard petroleum jelly. The marketing team claims this formula delivers deep healing, but medically speaking, petroleum is strictly an occlusive agent. It doesn't add moisture, it just traps whatever void dryness is already present on your skin under a heavy, suffocating film. It gets worse. Vaseline Intensive Care relies heavily on methylparaben and propylparaben as its main preservatives. For years, consumer advocacy groups and laboratory studies, including research published in the Journal of Applied Toxicology, have raised the alarm on parabens because they can mimic estrogen in the human body, acting as notorious hormone disruptors. Organizations like the Clean Label Project have continuously warned that slathering paraben-loaded creams all over your warm body every single day creates a cumulative chemical exposure that you simply do not want. Paying $5 to $8 for a flashy bottle of cheap, paraben-laced petroleum is a brilliant marketing trick, but a terrible deal for your health. Next, at number 6, is Dove Nourishing Body Care Intensive Lotion. Owned by the multinational conglomerate Unilever, Dove has spent hundreds of millions of dollars branding itself as the ultimate champion of real beauty, gentle care, and dermatologist-recommended purity. They want you to think their lotion is practically made of pure, wholesome moisture. But if you examine the actual liquid, it is packed with dimethicone and a heavy cocktail of synthetic silicones. Dimethicone is a silicone-based polymer that acts exactly like a chemical hair conditioner for your skin. It coats the surface, fills in microscopic ridges, and creates an instant artificial sensation of silkiness, giving you the complete illusion of nourished skin. Underneath that temporary chemical coat, your skin isn't getting any real vitamins or deep cell hydration. Dove frequently boasts about its proprietary Deep Care complex on the front label, but a quick look at the back reveals that this is mostly marketing fluff. A basic blend of cheap glycerin, petroleum, and standard texturizers that you could find in a generic $2 bottle. What's more, Dove lotions carry an incredibly heavy fragrance load to ensure that signature soapy smell lingers on your body for hours. For a brand that constantly markets itself to people with sensitive or delicate skin, pumping a formula full of heavy, undisclosed fragrance chemicals and synthetic silicones is completely hypocritical and a cheap shortcut to achieve a luxury feel. Now let's talk about number 5. Jergens Ultra Healing Extra Dry Skin Moisturizer. This is a massive American staple found in almost every grocery store and supermarket from Kroger to Safeway. It positions itself as a hard-working, non-nonsense lotion for families who need serious skin repair. But the base of this formula is built entirely on mineral oil and petroleum. It offers zero innovative skin barrier repair. Instead of utilizing high-quality, plant-derived lipids that mimic your skin's natural structure, Jergens takes the cheap route by using heavy petroleum derivatives to lock in moisture by force. To make the texture feel less like straight industrial grease, they introduce denatured alcohol into the mix. This is a massive red flag. Denatured alcohol evaporates instantly on the skin, which tricks your brain into thinking the lotion absorbed rapidly into your cells. In reality, that alcohol actively strips away your skin's natural lipid barrier and dries it out from the inside. It creates a vicious, profitable cycle. You apply the lotion, the alcohol dries out your skin a few hours later, and you feel compelled to reach for the bottle to apply even more, running through the product twice as fast. Combined with generic synthetic parabens for shelf life extension, Jergens is essentially a beautifully packaged dependency loop that leaves your skin hooked on cheap petroleum. This brings us to number 4, Gold Bond Ultimate Healing Lotion. Gold Bond markets itself in a very specific way. They use clinical-looking gold and white bottles, bold medical lettering, and an overall aesthetic that screams serious, scientific healthcare. People buy it at CVS or Walgreens thinking they are getting a medical-grade therapeutic treatment. But once again, flip the bottle over. Water is the first ingredient, and petroleum derivatives dominate the top of the list. They dress the formula up by adding micro amounts of vitamins like CoQ10 or niacinamide at the very bottom of the ingredient list, just so they can brag about them in their television commercials. But the vehicle delivering those vitamins is still a cheap, suffocating layer of crude oil byproduct. Gold Bond also heavily utilizes synthetic emulsifiers and texturizers to give the cream its thick, heavy, clinical feel. You think it's working better because it feels heavy, but that weight is just structural chemistry, not actual skin-healing potency. Charging a premium price for a drugstore product under the guise of clinical necessity, while using the same cheap manufacturing base as the lowest tier brands, is a masterclass in corporate deception. At number 3, we have Palmer's Cocoa Butter Formula Body Lotion. This brand has a massive, loyal following in the United States, heavily relying on its retro heritage image and the comforting promise of raw, natural cocoa butter to fade marks and soothe dry skin. The label is covered in gorgeous imagery of natural cocoa pods, making you feel like you are buying a wholesome, plant-based miracle. But here is the multi-million-dollar lie. The primary moisturizing agent in Palmer's cocoa butter formula isn't cocoa butter at all. It is petroleum. Check the ingredient order. Mineral oil and petroleum jelly sit right at the top, doing the actual heavy lifting of blocking your pores, while the real cocoa butter is buried further down the list. The overwhelming chocolate-like aroma that defines the brand isn't the smell of pure, raw cocoa either. It is a heavy, completely synthetic fragrance designed to overpower the industrial scent of the petroleum base. To make matters worse, many Palmer's formulations contain artificial dyes like Yellow 5, which are coal tar derivatives added purely for aesthetic reasons to make the cream look like a rich, buttery yellow. You are rubbing synthetic dyes, heavy synthetic perfumes, and raw petroleum jelly all over your body under the false impression that you are practicing natural, plant-based skincare. Coming in at number 2 is Garnier Whole Blends Honey Treasures Body Lotion, which you can find filling up entire aisles at Target. Garnier, owned by the global megacorporation L'Oreal, has mastered the art of eco-friendly marketing. The bottle features beautiful photography of honeycombs, royal jelly, and natural botanical extracts, promising a wholesome, natural remedy. But the formula is built on the exact same cheap skeleton as the rest. Water and mineral oil, the highly advertised honey and propolis extracts, are added in absolute trace amounts, a classic example of fairy dusting to satisfy the legal requirements for the label while the actual product remains an industrial petroleum soup. The lotion relies on a synthetic chemical cocktail to maintain its texture and shelf life, completely undermining the organic, natural lifestyle image they sell you on the front. Finally, we reach number 1, the absolute worst offender because of its massive popularity and trusted status among American parents. Johnson's Bedtime Baby Lotion. This pink bottle is an American institution, sold in every supermarket from coast to coast, explicitly marketed for the delicate, hyper-absorbent skin of newborn babies and children. Parents trust this brand blindly, assuming a massive corporation wouldn't dare put garbage in a baby product. But for decades, this formula was built heavily on mineral oil, and even the modernized versions are packed with synthetic texturizers, emulsifiers, and a massive dose of synthetic fragrance. A baby's skin barrier is significantly thinner and more permeable than an adult's, making them incredibly vulnerable to chemical absorption. Loading a product meant for infants with synthetic fragrance chemicals just to create a signature bedtime scent is an absolute corporate travesty. Consumer groups have repeatedly flagged mass-market baby lotions for containing traces of hidden contaminants like 1,4-dioxane as byproducts of the manufacturing process. It is a cheap, mass-produced chemical fluid dressed up in images of innocence, and it represents the absolute peak of corporate cost-cutting over consumer safety. And now, what it was worth watching all the way through for. We've spent enough time exposing the corporate boardrooms that sell you bottled tap water and cheap industrial byproduct under a cloud of synthetic perfume. It's time to talk about the companies that are actually doing the real work, engineering products that treat your body with respect. If you have been feeling completely stressed out about what to buy next, take a breath, because you do not have to resort to spending $50 a pop on boutique, artisanal creams from obscure online shops. There are incredible, highly effective, clean formulations sitting right on the shelves of your local Target, Walmart, CVS, and Whole Foods. These are products that completely ditch the lazy formula shortcut of smothering your cells in crude oil derivatives and hormone-disrupting preservatives. Instead, they focus on biology, delivering actual cellular hydration and rebuilding your delicate skin barrier from the inside out. Let's break down the 5 best options available in America today, moving from the most budget-friendly, mass-market lifesavers to the ultra-premium botanical powerhouses. At the top of our recommended list, acting as the ultimate mainstream baseline for healthy skin, is CeraVe Moisturizing Cream. Originally developed by actual clinical dermatologists, CeraVe didn't try to reinvent the wheel with marketing buzzwords. They looked at the biological architecture of human tissue. The hero ingredients here are three essential ceramides known as ceramides 1,3 and 6,2. Remember our brick wall metaphor? Ceramides are the actual mortar that your body naturally produces to keep the cells bound together. When your skin dries out, cracks, or develops eczema, it's usually because your natural ceramide levels have crashed. CeraVe introduces these identical plant-derived lipids back into your skin barrier at a highly meaningful concentration, rather than just fairy dusting them at the bottom of the bottle. They combine these with hyaluronic acid, a massive humectant powerhouse that draws environmental moisture straight into your tissue cells. When you apply CeraVe, there is absolutely zero greasy residue or heavy, suffocating film. It absorbs beautifully and handles the root cause of dryness rather than masking it. Best of all, it is entirely fragrance-free and paraben-free. It costs around $15 to $17 for a massive 16-ounce tub, which breaks down to mere pennies per use. The only real downside is that the texture is quite thick, which some people find a bit heavy for a quick midday hand application, but as a total body restorative lotion after a warm shower, it is an absolute gold standard. Next up is Aveeno Skin Relief Moisturizing Lotion. Now, pay very close attention here. You want to completely skip the standard Aveeno Daily Moisturizing line, which utilizes a different, less potent base, and reach specifically for the blue-labeled Skin Relief bottle. The entire philosophy of this formulation revolves around colloidal oatmeal, which is finely ground oat grain suspended in a rich fluid matrix. Oatmeal has been recognized by medical specialists for centuries as a natural anti-inflammatory powerhouse. Aveeno Skin Relief is clinically proven to actively target the chemical triggers that cause itching, flaking, and severe skin irritation. It holds the prestigious seal of acceptance from the National Eczema Association, which means an independent panel of dermatologists verified its safety and efficacy. When you rub this on, it doesn't give you that fake, slippery silicone feeling. You can feel your skin physically drinking in the fluid, calming down red, angry patches almost instantly. At roughly $11 to $13 for an 18-ounce pump bottle, it delivers a massive amount of high-end therapeutic relief without making a dent in your grocery budget. It is entirely fragrance-free, making it the perfect daily workhorse for anyone with hyperreactive or highly sensitive skin. Moving along to a brand that has become a complete cult favorite among people with chronic dermatological issues, we have Vanicream Moisturizing Cream. This is the absolute peak of minimalist skincare engineering. Vanicream's entire philosophy is to completely strip away every single non-essential chemical that could possibly trigger a human allergy or immune response. It is a formula designed for the most delicate, easily compromised skin types imaginable. Vanicream is explicitly free of dyes, synthetic fragrances, masking fragrances, parabens, lanolin, and formaldehyde releasers. When you look at the ingredient list, it is shockingly short because they refuse to use cheap, aromatic fillers to create a false luxury experience. In terms of texture, it feels incredibly rich and protective, making it a favorite recommendation for pediatricians and dermatologists dealing with extreme winter cracking or psoriasis. It sits at an incredibly fair price point of around $15 for a massive 1-pound jar equipped with a heavy-duty pump. Because it lacks any masking fragrance, it smells exactly like its raw ingredients, which some mainstream consumers find a bit clinical or industrial at first sniff, but that is the literal smell of pure, unadulterated safety. If you want a product that completely respects your body without trying to sell you a floral fantasy, Vanicream is a flawless choice. If you prefer a product that embraces a clean, plant-based, and highly emollient lifestyle, your next stop should be Alba Botanica Very Emollient Body Lotion. Found easily at Target and Whole Foods, Alba Botanica completely bypasses the traditional petroleum blueprint. The primary moisturizing vehicle here is a rich blend of pure botanical oils, including safflower seed oil, sesame seed oil, avocado oil, and real jojoba oil, heavily enriched with natural aloe vera and chamomile extracts. These plant-derived emollients are naturally packed with essential fatty acids and natural vitamin E, which absorb directly into the lipid bilayer of your skin, nourishing the cells rather than forming a synthetic plastic wrap over them. It is a 100% vegetarian formula made entirely without parabens, phthalates, or artificial colors. When you use it, the lotion feels incredibly luxurious, leaving a radiant, natural glow on your limbs without that heavy, synthetic grease-slick feeling. A huge 32-ounce bottle costs about $15 to $18, making it an incredibly economical way to get genuine plant-powered hydration. Finally, if you have the budget and want to treat yourself to an absolute premium, clean luxury experience, look no further than Everyone 3-in-1 Lotion by EO Products. Available at natural grocery stores and Whole Foods, this brand is an absolute pioneer in pure, essential oil-driven skincare. Their base is built entirely on pure water, vegetable glycerin, organic coconut oil, and organic sesame seed oil. There isn't a single drop of synthetic silicone or mineral oil in sight. The delicate, calming scent comes entirely from pure, steam-distilled lavender essential oil, not hidden synthetic aromatic chemicals. It is a certified gluten-free, non-GMO, and cruelty-free product that feels like an absolute spa treatment on your skin. It is admittedly a lighter lotion, which means it might not hold up against severe bleeding winter cracks as well as Vanicream, but for a daily, clean, heavenly-smelling, full-body lotion that respects your endocrine system, it is worth every single penny. Now that you have the clean list, let's arm you with the ultimate consumer defense mechanism so you never get duped again by beautiful packaging or clinical-sounding fonts. When you are walking down the beauty aisle at Target, Kroger, or Safeway, you need 5 ironclad rules to instantly separate the legitimate skincare products from the toxic garbage. Rule number 1 is the 5-ingredient threshold. The primary emollient or hydration mechanism of any lotion must appear within the first 5 ingredients listed on the back of the bottle. If water is number 1 and mineral oil or petroleum is number 2, you are buying refined crude oil, no matter how many gorgeous pictures of flowers are on the front. Rule number 2 is to treat the word fragrance like a hazardous hazard warning, unless the label explicitly states that the product is completely fragrance-free or scented exclusively with 100% pure essential oils. That single-word fragrance is a legal shield for hundreds of industrial chemicals, synthetic musks, and undisclosed allergens. Rule number 3 is to execute a complete zero-tolerance policy for parabens. Scan the microprint for methylparaben, propylparaben, butylparaben, or ethylparaben. If you see even one, put the bottle right back on the shelf, because daily exposure to these known endocrine disruptors has been flagged continuously by major healthcare advocates and laboratories like the Clean Label Project. Rule number 4 is to beware of the rapid absorption trick played by denatured alcohol or alcohol denat. If a moisturizer lists alcohol high up on the label, the corporation is using it to flash evaporate the fluid on your limbs, drying your skin out from the inside just to trick you into applying more lotion twice as fast. Finally, rule number 5 is the fairy dusting check. If a heavily advertised luxury ingredient like organic honey, shea butter, or argan oil is listed after phenoxyethanol or generic thickeners on the ingredient list, it is present at less than 1% by weight, making it completely useless for your cellular health. At the end of the day, the entire consumer skincare industry is engineered to maximize corporate profit margins by selling you the cheapest possible industrial ingredients wrapped in multi-million dollar psychological marketing. Legacy brands have systematically gutted their traditional formulas over the last decade, substituting rich botanical lipids with dirt cheap petroleum derivatives, while relying on nostalgic imagery to keep your trust completely blind. But the moment you shift your thinking from buying into a comforting brand image to strictly auditing the raw scientific ingredient list, you completely stop being a victim of corporate deception. You take control of what passes through your semi-permeable skin barrier, protecting your body and your endocrine system from toxic cumulative exposure. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this deep dive investigation into what we are truly slathering onto our bodies every single day. If this expose opened your eyes, do me a massive favor and hit that like button and smash that hype button right now to push this video past the corporate algorithms. You definitely have a friend or a family member who uses that classic pink baby lotion or that clinical looking gold bottle every morning. Share this video with them right now because they deserve to know the truth about what they are absorbing. Let me know down in the comments section. Which of these mainstream brands is sitting on your bathroom counter or vanity right now? And what product category do you want me to ruthlessly investigate next? Make sure to subscribe to the channel because we have a massive expose coming up on the